All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Excited. We're having Thursday nights with Mel and Deann Shield Maiden Taro's joining us. How are you all doing?
Doing good. I've been excited to see you guys all day.
Yeah.
Same here. I just wish this retrograde Mercury would hurry up and stop.
It
Right,
stinks, doesn't it? It's been horrible.
It's driving me
When does
insane.
it end? Isn't it the 14th?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's on Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day. Okay, good.
I wish it would hurry up and do its thing.
Right.
Me too.
All right, everyone. So we're going to be doing politics as usual tonight. I think all three of us are streaming from our channels. So that's cool. So send if you have any questions you want to send, go ahead and write them in all caps. A couple heart emojis if you can, and we'll get to as many questions as possible. If we don't get to your questions tonight, I am having Susan Lynn on tomorrow night. We're doing politics too at 8 o'clock, so make sure to stop by for that. Yeah,
I love Susan Lynn. She's a great lady.
We already have a bunch of stuff going on. A lot of questions in the chat already.
Can you just do a plug for our sponsor?
Oh, yes, go for it.
All right. Hello to Leslie Lepowski. If you got bad human breath, Leslie has the dog's preferred mints for humans. They're not for dogs, they're for humans. And it's mint, M-I-N-T, blizzards, B-L-I-Z-Z-A-R-D-S, bones, B-O-N-E-S.com, mintblizzardsbones.com. She sent me a bag of them. They are amazing. So if you want to order them, you can call 847-350-8223. She's sponsoring our shows from here until she says, don't do them anymore. And or you can email Leslie at Leslie, L-E-S-L-I-E, at mint, M-I-N-T, blizzards, B-L-I-Z-Z-A-R-D-S, bones, B-O-N-E-S.com.
Well, I got a new puppy, so
there you
go.
go.
We use those.
Blizzard is her dog's name, so.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mine is Sadie. We just got her a couple months ago.
What kind?
Cavapoo. She was like 4 pounds. She's a little teeny tiny thing.
I think Blizzard is a snow lab, a yellow lab.
Oh, I love labs. I love all dogs.
And the mints are in the form of little bones, and you put them in your mouth. And they're like, yes. Especially when you have garlic for lunch.
Which I do a lot. I love garlic.
Well, then you need mintblizzardbones.com.
I do. Good thing you can't smell the garlic from.
They don't have smell-o-vision yet, so we're all safe.
I walk past the plastic flowers after I eat garlic, and they wilt. So what does that tell you?
I usually double. If it says you're supposed to use 3 cloves of garlic, I use 6.
Yeah,
I'm
the same way. Lots of garlic. Sacred Hag, we're sending a lot of prayers for your husband. I'm very glad that he's okay. That her husband got hit head on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this one. Yay. Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
Wayne.
I missed it. Here we go. Hi, but I missed it. Here. Karen Allen ordered 3 bags, and she's going to take them to the pet shelter.
Oh, that's a cute idea.
Yeah. They're not for dogs, though. They're for humans.
So. Oh, they're for humans.
They're not for dogs. They're for humans.
Oh, well, that.
They're little bitty bones you put in your mouth. It's the dog's preferred mint for humans.
Oh, so we don't breathe on them with our garlic breath.
Correct.
Gotcha.
It's not for dog breath. It's for human breath.
Right. Well, we got so much going on in the news. I was live on Tuesday when they did the E. Jean Carroll. They announced the verdict on that. And then George Santos is indicted. What else is going on? A lot of stuff. We said it, though. I think all 3 of us said that. I felt like he was definitely going to be the first one in trouble.
Yeah, I did too. And can you believe 13 counts, money laundering, all this, all this stuff that he's, and the thing he said, what did he say? He said, it's a witch hunt. I'm like, made me laugh. It's like.
It's from the rhetoric of Cheeto Head. And then he
said,
exactly. I'm not going to step down till after the election. And of course, Kevin McCarthy's not doing anything because they need his vote because they have such a razor thin majority. Pretty sad. But if anybody else had done that, they would have already been asked to resign if it had been that.
And when we were younger back in the day, they wouldn't have gotten away with a fourth of this.
Correct.
Right. People been raising.
They would have been out before it even happened if they had a heads up. But I see him out before his term's up. I don't know. I don't know if he resigns or he's forced out. You know,
they're calling for him to resign.
I definitely feel him having to leave.
I didn't watch the town hall with Cheeto Head, but you know, if he's spewing venom, he's going to get sued again. And I heard of the guy whose name is Tucker, but rhymes with an F word, is going to be on some. Was it going to be
Twitter with what's his face, Elon Musk?
Well, you know what? If he starts saying a bunch of that stuff that's not true, you know, I see my guide show me a lot of lawsuits against him.
Yeah.
And these
Dominion just subpoenaed Trump.
Well, and they're going to win too.
They are.
But people are worried about the broadcast, the supposed town hall on CNN, and it was just a bunch more lies and all of that stuff. And so a lot of people are wondering what's going on at CNN. What do you guys think?
Ratings. They're wanting ratings, and they're going to destroy themselves. They're going to be looked at as another Fox because every Democrat that I know is wanting to boycott them. I'm boycotting them. They were cheering about E. Jean Carroll's rape.
I'm sorry.
I feel like they're trying to get the Fox viewers. Because a lot of people are leaving since Tucker left, so they're trying to, give him a platform.
Yep.
What are you picking up?
Ultimately, I can see what's happening, and I want to be very careful about what I say. But ultimately, I know what they're trying to do, but it's not going to work because they just got a new CEO who's supposedly, I don't know, not one of us.
Okay.
I don't know, but I did not watch the interview. I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to get an attack of vertigo or a migraine.
The town hall.
The town hall.
Yeah.
But some people said that it's the same kind of rhetoric that he was spewing in 2020.
It is.
Other people said that they thought it might make him look good as a candidate. But a lot of other people that I've heard talking about it say that he looked pretty ridiculous.
He did. And he was even standing up over the lady, and he called her a nasty woman, like he did Hillary. He called her a nasty woman.
Of course. I don't know who interviewed him.
I can't think of her name. She used to work with Tucker Carlson, this woman on CNN. But she gave him questions, but she didn't fact check him. There was no fact checking. There was usually, you have independents who are undecided who ask questions. It was all Trump fans. It was like a mini rally, and they were cheering about.
Of course, because they didn't fact check him because he was controlling the whole thing. Because now, just like he controls one network, he wants to control another one. But it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up in their faces because you know what? They better be careful because the same thing that happened at Fox is going to, my guides are telling me, is going to be the very same thing that happened at CNN.
That's how I feel too. Yes.
And I don't see CNN being as successful with drawing in a bunch of Fox viewers. I just don't see it. They'll go to their far right wing news before they go to CNN.
Well, I also think that they stand to be sued.
Yeah.
And so, and I'll tell you somebody else who I see is going to be in trouble is that judge who's on Fox. I don't want to mention her name. But
Jenny Hero.
I don't want to mention her name.
You just said it and I said it. I'm so sorry. Allegedly.
So we shall see. All right, Kevin, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Yeah, and it was more of a rally rather than a town hall. I think she she was giving him the hard questions, but it was like, I didn't watch it, but from the clips, but she wouldn't press him even more when he wouldn't answer. And you know that's what Trump's going to do. And I feel like Trump, paid people to be there to sit in for it. So it was just like a rally.
Oh, exactly. It was, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if a Democrat wanted one, what would be the outcome of that?
Yeah, what's the sense of that? You're not appealing to any undecided voters. You've got people that are already MAGA.
Well, but some of the independents and things like that, and he's just trying to, the same rhetoric that, he's always the victim. And I still see him catching his Waterloo.
Yeah.
I do too. It's not going to work. His MAGA people aren't enough. If he can't get the independents, if he can't get the moderates,
correct,
he's not going to win.
No, I don't even think he'll be. He won't even be around come nomination or the next election. So, all right. I just had a good question. I just lost it. Give me just 1 second. Sorry, you guys.
Sorry about that.
We were talking about Ucker with an F. He's starting his own show on Twitter. How will that go? I said I felt like he was going to do a small show, like his own kind of thing. And I feel like Mel. I feel like he starts spewing his venom and starts getting lawsuits.
Yeah.
Well, he got 100 million views, but that doesn't mean anything. I still see these companies, the voting machine companies, coming after him as well, for lots and lots of money. And so, I don't think the folks at Twitter are going to bail him out. But if they do, and they start letting him spew that stuff, they're going to get major lawsuits.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think so too. I think that, if he goes on there, the advertisers, I don't feel like the advertisers are going to want to support that hard right thing, and they're going to lose a lot of advertisers.
Yeah.
Well,
accountability,
he's going to get sued.
Accountability is beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I just threw a couple cards, and I just feel like women going after him, like multiple women. Maybe even that Fox News lady that's suing Fox, that was working with him, going after him. Because I have the 3 of Cups here, so it's like 3 women going after him. But I feel like, there's like lawsuits, there's legal action getting put in place.
I got the same thing, Kevin. I got the Queen of Swords, which I see as a woman, a legal woman going after them, and I see them losing money,
Yeah.
My guy told me since day one that the women will bring him down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Stormy Daniel things is not over. This lawsuit he just lost for sexual assault, he'll appeal, but he'll appeal it for years. But guess what? I don't see the case coming out in his favor, even if he appeals it.
Her lawyer says he has no grounds for appeal.
Well, they have the right to appeal.
E. Jean Carroll's.
He'll be able to appeal, but she says he doesn't have grounds to win an appeal. She doesn't see him being successful.
Do you? I don't see it being successful either.
I don't either, but he'll stretch it out for years like he always does.
Right, like he always does.
But I see other lawsuits filed against him.
Mm.
There's 20-something, I think, other women that have accused him, that once they've seen E. Jean Carroll has won, they may come forward and start suing him too, and that him losing that case is going to go against him for some of these others. So other people are going to start coming forward, I believe.
My guides tell me the women will bring him down.
I think so too.
Do you feel like since E. Jean Carroll won her defamation, and then literally right after the ruling, he's on Truth Social, go attacking her, and then at his town hall he was attacking and defaming her. Do you think she's going to go and sue him again? Because
yes.
I think she's got.
Yes, she's already said.
Oh, did she say she was going to? Because I felt like
going after him again. Yep.
Yeah. Keep it up. All right.
Malicious defamation.
Ron says, can you see if Putin's planning on blowing up a Ukrainian power plant?
I'm sorry, saying, oh.
I feel like he's got something in the works, but I don't think it's nuclear, attacking a nuclear.
I'm not worried about Putin blowing up the power plant, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't see that, nor do I see the Ukrainians sabotaging it. But I think if Putin tries anything, the Ukrainians run it will threaten to do a meltdown. And Putin doesn't want to have to deal with that. What does concern me is the thing in Florida, and I forget exactly what it is, but has okayed the spent low-level radioactive stuff to be used in the mixture to pave roads.
Yeah, I saw that. And isn't that horrible?
And small levels of radiation over long periods of time can create all kinds of havoc with health. And the runoff alone, building up in the swamps and the Everglades and all in the water, the long-term effects of that are going to be disastrous. That concerns me more. And what concerns me more even is that he would even allow stuff like that. But my guides tell me that at some point there's going to be lawsuits and the EPA is going to step in and say, wait a minute, you can't do this. But some of the repubes want to strip away the EPA. And so
Trump, they had done that. He took the restrictions off of that. And I see people that are doing construction and things like that with that dust flying, getting in their lungs and cancer, causing cancer, and lawsuits coming out from that.
I'm just really concerned about who would think that in this country, they would be stupid enough to put low-level radioactive filler or whatever it is to pave streets. I mean,
doesn't even sound like a good idea, or like there's any good to come from that, does it?
Right? I mean,
the guy that goes to war with the mouse, you know.
There's going to be. I see the EPA stepping in. I don't know. I see a lot of federal lawsuits to stop it and all kinds of stuff. So it's very frightening. Yeah. That scares me more than any kind of nuclear thing in Ukraine.
Yeah, I don't feel like anything nuclear going off in Ukraine.
No, I don't either. But you know what? We're worried about Ukraine. My whole point is that my guides are telling me we need to worry about here.
Yeah. Scary.
I'm sorry. I'm on my bandwagon.
You're fine.
Well, I pulled a card on that, Mel, about what you were saying, and I got the 7 of Pentacles, setbacks and unfinished work. So maybe there's going to be a big to-do about it, you know. I mean, they may not be able to finish that because they're going to have some issues, some unresolved issues because of it.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is cancer causing.
Yeah.
It's also about the money they think they're going to make. But look what I pulled, the Ace of Swords.
No.
Divine.
More information.
I'm sorry?
More information coming out about it in their plans.
Correct. Yeah. Almost like a divine intervention to say, wait a minute here. We ain't buying this. And look, the blinders will come off because they're almost making it seem like it won't hurt anybody. And then I look at this card that I pulled.
Yeah.
There's a lot of court and legalities coming up with it.
Yeah.
And the people who are against it, putting the radioactive waste in the streets, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel too.
So anyway.
All right.
I'm off my high horse now.
It's hard not to get on a high horse. You don't have to be too high when you're dealing with that kind of people.
Well, our voices need to be heard.
They do.
Leah says, what do we see from the judge that 45 has been smack talking? I think somebody else asked when they're going to actually gag him, and I feel a gag.
They did gag him, didn't they?
They did. They didn't gag him from speaking. They gagged him from being able to print anything or type anything, you know, like he does on his Live Central. He's not allowed to do that. But if he starts speaking of it, they may end up putting a full gag order on him. But that doesn't mean, even if they do that he won't get his flying monkeys to try to put out information saying it didn't come from me.
I do see a gag order. We can't do that. This means delay. It could be disappointment. So for a while, it looks like the judge isn't going to do anything. But ultimately, I think they're building up enough so they can say, okay, be quiet. Then they're going to follow suit the Trump people who say, oh, it's right to, freedom of speech. No, it's not freedom of speech.
Yeah, so I got the Lover's card in reverse. So I feel like they've been procrastinating on doing anything about it right now, but there's going to be some arguments based on some bad choices he's going to make because he's not going to listen to them, and I think he's going to get a gag order too.
Well, the Lover's card in reverse means all of the affairs he's had coming back to bite him.
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. I feel like Trump, we know that he has to keep pushing and seeing how far he can go. And even if he's somewhat restricted on what he can post, we all know he's going to do it anyway. So he's going to push, and he'll eventually get a gag order.
Yeah, and I did a pendulum on it too, and will Trump get a gag order? And I get a strong yes.
Yeah.
And with the card, I got a yes. So
you need a big ball gag to shove in his mouth. All right. Is there a gag big enough? Yes. Oh, yeah.
They need a literal gag. Super glue his lips closed.
What are we feeling on the border? Was it that one title is expired today or expiring?
I don't know. What do you mean, what title?
Well, it was put in place, I think, where refugees couldn't come over to claim asylum with the COVID pandemic. So everybody's afraid of a huge wave of migrants coming in.
Well, I think Biden tried to hire some more security and things like that for the border, but they Republicans they went against it, and they're the ones who are always complaining about the border.
Anything to make them look bad, that's their talking point, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have one flying you know what about people coming across the border. They want them to come across the border so they can say, look at all these illegal immigrants and look at what needs to be done, and only we can fix it. That's what they're up to.
That's why they want to crash the economy, because they want to make Biden look bad. You know, they can blame it on Biden, and people that don't educate themselves will think, oh, it's just Biden.
But here's what people don't, but look, they're not going to win. Justice shall be done. But here's the deal. The debt ceiling is not about setting budgets for a future. It's about raising the money to pay the bills we've already made.
Right.
It's almost like, you know, you charge something on your credit card and then you say, oh, well, we're not going to pay it because they're not going to raise my salary. It's like, what? No. You gotta pay it.
And why do they always want to take from the poor, but not from the rich, not from their own salary?
It has nothing to do with them taking from anybody. It's about them paying what
the bill that
we've
Trump
already made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Republicans made that bill, but now they're trying to default on it and make the Democrats look bad.
Yeah, well, that's not going to work out in their favor. I don't see that happening, but it'll get close. I do feel like this, with that Title 42 being lifted, I think it is going to be a big problem. I have like the chariot, so many people racing across the border. People are really nervous, you know, feeling very restricted. I see it being a bit of an issue.
I see people coming across the border, but I think that it's going to be blown all out of proportion by the ultra right wing MAGA Christian nationalists.
Yes.
But I don't think it's going to be a humongous humanitarian crisis. But I think the fear that a lot of people of them having their children taken away. And then what Governor Abbott is doing is busing people everywhere and just dumping them off, which is illegal. I don't know. You know, this is a card of victory, but it's also a card of being battle weary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at some point, the American people are going to get battle weary about this anarchy, and they're going to start seeing the ultra right-wing Christian nationalists, so-called MAGA Republicans, for what they're all about. You know, Kevin said something that he's been saying all along, and that there was going to be a fracture of the Republican Party. And I see it happening. It's happening in the House of Representatives right now.
They call them rhinos if they're not MAGA, and they're still Republicans. So anybody who's moderate. I got about the border thing. I got the Four of Wands in reverse. So these people, they're made to feel very unwelcome. You know, they're There's a lot of conflict, and it's gotten to the point with the Queen of Swords below, in reverse, that they've been cruel. They've been cruel and malicious to these people, taking their children and things like that. And these people, I got this in reverse, the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So I feel like there is going to be some positive changes at the border. I think that Biden is going to create some positive changes at the border. But right now, there's just a lot of cruelty in the way they treat them. They're human beings. It's a humanitarian thing more than it's a...
Well, my feeling is the Democrats are going to take back over the House. My guys just say yes.
I think so too.
But that's why, like I said earlier, McCarthy doesn't want Santos to resign because Santos said, "Oh, I'll do it after the election." Well, yeah, because you don't want to lose your majority. But I don't even see McCarthy being Speaker of the House.
Yeah. I don't either.
I think that debt ceiling thing is what takes McCarthy out, is what I feel.
I think you're right, Kevin. When you said that, the light bulb went, yes.
That's how I've been feeling that. I feel like, though I feel like this is going to be an issue. I do feel like a lot of steps, I don't know if it's this year or next year, but in the next couple of years of them actually getting some really good immigration reform put in place that's been much needed. And I actually see at some point too, the U.S. working with a lot of the Central American countries where, there's all that violence and gangs, and really working on getting that cleaned up, because that's, I think, why so many refugees are being displaced and coming up this way.
I felt that too, Kevin, because a lot of them are coming here because their lives are in danger. They feel their children are in danger. Nobody walks that many miles and sits out for days in the hot desert with their children and babies and risks that if they're not desperate. And they are human beings, and it just made me sick how they treat them. But for the Republicans to, not vote on a bill to have security and stuff there when they're the ones, they're just hypocritical.
Yeah. Well, it just plays into their agenda. Something to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing that bothers me is on our Statue of Liberty, it says, "Give me you're tired, you're poor, you're wretched, you're hungry," whatever. I'm probably misquoting it, but something to that effect. All right. And these ultra right-wing supposed Christian nationalist MAGA people, all right, they talk about democracy, but yet they're the first to want to take away everybody's freedoms. And their rhetoric is the people coming from, Latin America and things like that are taking away our jobs. That's a bunch of bull hockey.
Right.
When was the last time that you saw somebody here clean a toilet or do landscaping or pick fruit? And really what it boils down to is they've created institutionalized slavery.
Yes. The farmers, they were saying when they quit bringing people in or letting the immigrants come in to help with picking the things in the farm, the berries, different things like that, they tried to get American people, young Americans, different people to do that. They wouldn't do it for the price that they were paying these immigrants to do it. They need them. We need them.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's a movie called A Day Without Mexicans. I suggest everybody see it. It's really cool.
I think I saw that. I think I might have saw that. Yeah, absolutely. And all these wealthy people, who do they usually have at doing their gardening, taking care of their children, all this stuff, and then they can threaten them. I
don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with people coming into the country legally.
Right.
Yeah.
But my great grandfather came here on a boat and he was never naturalized.
Yeah.
But I do have a problem with, when people walk in schools with AR-14s, or when a neighbor kills his neighbors and a governor, Abbott, says, well, they were illegal immigrants. What?
Yeah.
I know. Did you hear Abbott wanted to pardon that one guy that he shot this gentleman? I think his name was Garrett. He was pushing his handicapped wife at the Black Lives Matter thing. And this guy shot him and he got 25 years in prison. This poor woman has nobody to take care of her. Her husband was her caretaker, and he wants to pardon him. I don't think he'll be able to pardon him, but he's going to try to get his sentence reduced, I feel.
Well, what I do see at some point in this country is enough of us speaking up, because what we're going through is an American apartheid, and it's frightening. And what I see is enough of us speaking up to say, we are not going to let this small group cram their beliefs down our throats and take away our freedoms. And my guys are really strong on that.
Yeah.
And I see people coming out in numbers, in droves, and protesting. And at the end of the day, even though it looks like this small little group, this little group of fascists are winning, they will not win.
We can't let them.
And discrimination and bigotry in this country will not control this country. These people that are doing this in government are going to be gone.
Yep.
I think so too. I don't think this is going to last. Women are going to vote like crazy. You know,
the young people are coming out to vote.
Young people are going to vote like crazy. Yes.
Well, I've got a guy named Nicodemus, and he is strong tonight, because when he comes through, it's like, whoa, he is strong. So I apologize if I'm coming across a little bit too strong, but I think we need to.
Yeah.
It's time for the majority of us to get up off of our asses and get busy and really speak up and get things done.
Yeah.
And most of us are.
And what business is it of theirs? It's a personal thing. What business is it of theirs? Who you sleep with, who you love, who you, what religion you have, any of that. It's not their business. If you marry somebody, pretty soon they'll try to make, remember when it was a black and a white, or, we couldn't have mixed marriages?
Well,
I think they want to go back to that if they could.
Because of Clarence Thomas, right?
Right.
But he wanted to do other things like take away gay marriage and this and that, and other changes I see coming around SCOTUS. People thought that SCOTUS was untouchable, and this truth coming out shows even they have been tainted, some of them, and they are going to be gone. And there's a couple Democrats, or people that were Democrat appointed judges on the court, that ain't whiter than white either. But I see justice being done there too.
Yeah.
And I see 3 justices that are going to have to leave the court.
Yeah. Clarence Thomas for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I really feel for sure he's going to be stepped down.
I mean, it's just hitting from all angles. It's amazing how in 4 years, the toxicity and the evil darkness that tainted almost every American institution. And but here again, the light will prevail.
Yeah,
it will.
Yeah, and I always tell people too, it's like those hardest times, or when we really figure out who we are, and those times that we learn the most and grow for them. So I do feel like Trump, the pandemic, all of this heaviness, all this darkness that's been around us for so long, it's to unearth things that were hidden, so that we can make these institutions stronger, so that we can make those positive changes that are needed as we head into a more like progressive future.
Yep.
So
I agree.
And Trump's finally getting some accountability. He's never seen accountability before, and it's coming at him from every direction. There's no way he can avoid it.
Well, Trump does what Trump does. He lies. He just, he diverts. What are the RDs, Kevin? Deceive, divert, whatever they were. I've got them upstairs. I'm downstairs in my dining room. Destroy, right? He does the same thing he always does. Switch the topic. They're talking about oranges, and he switches it to apples.
They asked him about how, I guess that Access Hollywood tape really, that doomed him. He pretty much confessed to raping her. If you're a star, they let you do it. For millions of years, they've let you do it. And he said something, he goes, they couldn't believe he was saying that on the town hall. And he says, well, I'm not going to lie, and I'm like, you're not going to lie? I wouldn't lie. It's like, that's all you do. It just seemed ironic having him say, I'm not going to lie.
All right, you guys. Kathy asks, what's going on with the debt ceiling? Are they going to be able to raise it, or is Biden going to use the 14th Amendment?
I see 14.
14th?
And Biden will if he has to.
Oh,
And it's going
absolutely.
to look really bad for McCarthy, and it's going to, just like with Joseph McCarthy, this McCarthy is going to go. So will Marjorie Taylor Greene and a lot of those other racist bullies. Biden's going to use 14, and they're going to try to turn it against him. But guess what? That's going to be a feather in Biden's cap.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I see a yes to 14. I could be wrong. And if I am, I'll come forward and say I'm wrong. But I see 14.
Well, I used my pendulum on. I'm feeling yes, and I did the pendulum just to see and I got yes.
I got a yes,
14th
too.
Amendment. And I got yes here, too. A yes card here, too.
And I pulled the
Going to do that to protect us, to make stability, to help us to become more stable, and to protect our country. A father figure, which, like Biden, going to help balance things out. I think he's going to do the 14th Amendment also.
Yeah, I got a yes. And I've always said I feel like it's going to be like the absolute last minute that it can get passed, it's going to get passed. Like it may be like 11:59 the night before. Like it's going to be really down to the wire. Yeah, I got Biden's going to have to change things up and head in a new direction, because we're trapped. And if these Republicans get their way, it's going to be so burdensome for us, for our economy. So he's doing it to bring us into calmer shores, to kind of because it needs to be done. So I feel like it's all going to be okay, but the 14th Amendment's resonating with me too.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be the reason why McCarthy's taken out.
Go ahead. Can I post this, Kevin?
Yeah, of course.
Professor Joni S. said Professor Lawrence Tribe said it's Biden's duty and they cannot touch him with litigation if he uses the 14th.
They'll try.
Oh, they'll try, but they can say we're going to impeach, we're going to do this, but they don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Now somebody here says CNN did fact check Trump. I don't know if that's true or not.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the highlights of it, and I watched Midas Touch and a lot of them, and they were complaining about them not fact checking. Like Kevin said, I seen they asked tough questions, but I didn't see them really pushing fact checking him.
I think the host, that lady, did a little bit. I didn't watch it because I'm not giving CNN the views. I watched clips afterwards, a few of them.
I did.
She definitely came on strong, but then Trump deflects, he diverts, the East, and then there was no holding him to account. But you really can't do that with Trump. Trump was controlling the room. He had his rally there with all of his
people,
MAGA voters there, so there was really nothing she could do.
Well, I get it, but I didn't watch it because I didn't want to get vertigo.
It kind of reminded me of what he did to Hillary, though, when he stood over her and towered over her, tried to intimidate her. I feel like he was trying to intimidate her whenever she tried to question him on anything. And that's when he called her nasty, when she wasn't giving him softball questions.
Well, you know what? I want to see some unbiased woman who's as tough as nails interview Trump, fact check everything, and just not be fearful of him, regardless of what the audience is about, and let him have it. And you know what? My guides just put that in my head, and my psychic light bulb went on, and that's exactly what's going to happen at some point.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
and
what
he's going to be blindsided. He's going to be gobsmacked, and he's not going to know what to do.
These softball questions have to stop. Like when Tucker Carlson interviews him, it's, he practically even tries to give him the answers.
Well, who do you think writes those questions?
Yes, and Hannity too. Hannity will try to, even pull the right answers out of him, and he still screws it up.
There's going to be somebody who'll come along, who'll seem just kind of, I don't want to say shy and demure, but very nice and almost like a fluffy white kitten, but she's going to be a tough meatball, and she's really going to hit him with a lot of stuff. And I that I'll watch, and I see it coming, and I see it coming a lot quicker than what everybody thinks.
Okay.
Yep. I'm getting that.
I felt like she was tough on him. It was just the follow up. I mean, you can't out talk Trump. So,
No.
but anybody they would have picked, you know, they wouldn't have been able to outmaneuver him.
Oh,
I
this
mean,
woman will be able.
she rejected on stuff. She said that, you know, there was no election interference and that it wasn't rigged. So she was pushing back on him, but I mean,
But I mean, you could have said 63 different judges, many of them that you appointed, you know, and then even on the rape trial, there was 6 men and 3 women, and some of them were MAGA people, you know, and they still was enough that made them find him guilty.
I see somebody even tougher than her coming along. Kind of like an Elizabeth Warren.
I love her.
But not an Elizabeth Warren. And, you know, Trump's even going to make bad remarks about that person. Anybody that disagrees with him, he's going to go off on.
Right. If you're not his soldier applauding him and kissing his boots, you're the enemy. The guy says, when will the demise of Rump occur? It's already occurring. We're already seeing it.
Before our eyes.
Yes.
You know, I was in downtown.
It's going to get worse and worse.
I was in downtown Chicago, and we have T Rump Tower. And as I was looking from a certain angle, you couldn't see the T, and I just saw Rump. And my psychic light bulb went on and said, oh my God, when the city of Chicago takes the name Trump down, I really think they'll take the T down and just leave Rump up.
And isn't it true he can't practice or he can't do business in New York right now with everything going on? And that's where he did a lot of his business in New York. I see Trump Towers being a thing of just gone. Being history.
Good. I'm glad you said that, because I think in Chicago, if they can prove he's committed a crime and he's convicted, they can take his name down. And so he doesn't own that building. I think he just pays to have his name put on it.
But his name will be removed from those.
It certainly will.
Trump Tower's coming crashing down.
Yes, it is.
I won't even take a picture of it.
Hey, Kevin. Nice to see you. Kevin Lewis is watching.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, what's going on? Kevin Lewis and I are going to start doing shows on Friday. Not this Friday. I need a rest, but.
And I saw Kim Copeland watching earlier today.
Hey Kim, how are you, my buddy Kim? My animal. Her and I do our animal shows with animals.
I've seen that.
We got a new dog that was on the show last night.
Oh, I didn't get to see last night, so I'll have to watch that later. I got him on my playlist, though.
All right. Crazy Shark wants to know who we see becoming the next GOP nominee. I haven't seen clearly who it is, and I don't know if it's.
I got to take a look at it. You know, I don't think it's going to be Trump. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be Satan either. He's pulling too much.
I'm not feeling
negativity.
DeSantis. I almost feel like, though, if Trump does get it, he might get the nomination and then not be able to run, and then it's like chaos. Because I don't feel like in the end Trump will be the nominee.
I don't think so either. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it. Trump has to watch his health. Seeing like that.
I keep feeling like I never do get him going to jail, but I see his mental health and his health just declining in every indictment that he has to go through. You know, I know he's not going to be president. I keep seeing him in a hospital of some kind, mental hospital or some sort of hospital.
Kevin, can I put one up? Can I put a question up?
Sure.
And
I wish I could see him in an orange jump.
If you already answered this, let me know. Donna Sauer. Kevin, you want to read it? Or
she says, looks like Ukraine is starting their counterattack on Russian troops, Bakhmut, etc. Do you see great success for our strong and resilient brothers and sisters? Absolutely.
The Ukrainians, yes.
Yes.
You know, somebody had asked Kevin, I think on our show last week about and on Monday as well, about Ukraine doing a counterattack. And I said, oh, I absolutely see it coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, Putin might try to use, you know, there's an excuse for something else, but the truth will prevail on it. And I see victory for the ultimate victory for the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
I got the 8 of Cups. I see them withdrawing and abandoning this eventually, Russia. Because they just, and I see that they're going to be with the 7 of Swords in reverse, them being outsmarted and judgment coming upon Russia. And I think that there will be statues made of Zelensky someday.
Yeah.
He's a hero.
A lot of deceit around Putin. But this is a warrior card, and the Ukrainians will not give up. I think if, God forbid, if Trump got in, he's talked about, oh, Putin's a smart guy. He's great. He's this, he's that. But I still see the U.S. giving money and aid to Ukraine.
I do too.
And as well as NATO, and as well as the European Union. So.
Yeah, and they'll be part of NATO. Ukraine will be.
I talked to somebody the other day who was pro-Putin, who said, well, he didn't want NATO around his country because he was trying to protect his borders. I said, but wait a minute. NATO wasn't a threat to him. He doesn't get the right to say who can join NATO and who can't.
Right.
Exactly.
So, and the person did not have a counter argument to that.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I feel like Ukraine ultimately will win. I do get to see them getting stronger. Mm-hmm. I've said for a while, though, I do feel like we saw that drone that was shot down. It was fake. It was Russian, but it's really right. But it's so that Putin can have some kind of big retaliation. So I see him having like one more big strike there, and then they're done. Ukraine is cleaning up, and getting their land back. They're fighting and pushing them back. I do feel like there is something that makes them very nervous. Putin's definitely got a plan because he's so desperate to hold on to power. And it does feel like it's something heavy. I don't feel nuclear, but in the end, Ukraine is putting that hard work in. They are going to, receive that help. They're going to push back, and they're going to be victorious in the end.
Yeah.
Putin's got himself in another Vietnam.
Yeah.
Or another Afghanistan. But he's, it's funny. I ask about the Ukrainians, and look what came up with the sun.
The sun, yeah. Good.
But Kevin, you're right. That drone, that was Russian. That wasn't. Putin arranged all of that.
Yeah.
That was not the Ukrainians.
I don't
think his health is good either.
Is it retaliation? And I also think. Not that many Russians buy it, but it was to gather support from Russian people. But they're sick and tired of this war, and the mothers in Russia losing their kids, their sons.
Sad. It was a war that because it wasn't even preemptive. It was just a war because Putin decided that he wanted Ukraine, and he even said. He didn't want them to go into NATO. So Ukraine said, we won't go into NATO. And that was my argument with this person I was talking to.
Yeah.
And Ukraine agreed not to, but yet he still invaded because he wants the old Soviet Union back, and it's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, I felt like he may have to go into hiding, Putin.
No, he kind of already is. He doesn't really.
Right. He stays in his palace, paranoid by all of his service people who's going to poison him. He's on like a heavily secured train to move around, so he is in hiding. But I felt a woman will take him out for entertainment.
Oh, that'd be great.
Only.
For entertainment purposes only. That's what Stalin did. Stalin really had isolated himself, and I saw a special on Stalin, and every morning there would be a list of people, and if he checked off the name, those were people that would die. And the only person that Stalin talked to was his chambermaid, who later became his lover. And he was completely isolated. And when he died, it was amazing that in the Soviet Union, when Stalin died, like movies with pictures of him, statues of him, they tore down.
Yeah.
And right after Stalin, I think it was Nikita Khrushchev, if I'm not mistaken, who came to power.
Was it tradition back then to throw people out windows?
Yeah.
No, this is new.
No, it's new.
This is a new tradition.
People.
How did he die? Well, he fell off the basement window.
There's always people falling out those windows in Russia.
I wouldn't want to be in a basement window in Russia, that's for sure.
Yeah. Myrna asks, will Trump fake his death in the U.S. or another country? I'm not feeling that at all. I'm concerned about his actual health.
Yes. I heard he left Ireland because they really didn't want him there.
Oh, I had predicted that. I said he's going to go to Ireland, and they're not going to want him, nor will Scotland. And
nope. And Scotland's investigating him and his property that he got there. They're investigating him now.
And you know what? They're going to find foul play there too, and he's going to do deep doo-doo there. And they're going to say he can't come into Scotland because if he does, he'll be arrested.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He can go hide with Putin.
I know other readers have said that they felt he would be able to go overseas to escape. I feel like he's being too closely watched.
Who'd want him? You know? I mean,
right.
Like I said, he could go hide with Putin wherever Putin's going to be hiding.
The only place he could go would be Russia or Belarus. That would be it.
I don't know. I feel like it's a backup plan, but I don't foresee that happening. I could be wrong.
I see his passport being revoked.
Yeah. Linda, this is a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Will any of the SCOTUS be investigated by the IRS?
Yes,
I got it. Absolutely,
yes.
Yeah, I feel so. I've been feeling that for a long time.
Well, I'm taking
pleasure in that. I feel like I'm feeling like the number 2. So there may be 2 of them investigated, and I feel one of them would be Clarence Thomas. Yes.
It'll all come to the surface. And the magicians, so everything they've been hiding, guess what? It's gonna be found out. The magician's tricks will be revealed.
Kevin, I'm getting like 3.
3, okay.
See, I see 3 as well.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Could it be, Kevin, that maybe, here's what I'm thinking. I think I've got it. It starts with 1, and then, more investigation leads to them finding stuff about 2 more.
Yeah, very well could be. I'm getting an absolute yes. The IRS justice is charging in victoriously for those who took the money, the men that took the money, and then there's justice. So powerful card.
Yeah, I got the 10 of Cups in reverse, and it is a yes card. There's going to be some conflict with the IRS.
Yeah. Karen thinks 4. Thomas, Roberts, Kavanaugh, and Comey Barrett.
I don't know, but I'm not really feeling anything for Comey Barrett.
I was going to say I'm not feeling Comey Barrett either, but the other 2.
I'm thinking but there's a Democrat in there that I might be looking at too, but I'm still thinking Gorsuch.
Okay.
Gorsuch, I think Clarence Thomas. Now, whose wife was it that took
Roberts? I'm feeling Roberts too.
Yeah. That's the 3 I'm thinking too. I didn't feel Amy.
No.
Although it'd be fine, but I'm not feeling like she is going to be one.
Yonique says, after Trump's town hall last night, have Repubs voters changed their mind after it was just a repeat of the 2020 election? I feel like some people, not the MAGA Republicans, but I do feel like it did turn off some of the, more sane Republicans. They're tired of Trump.
Yes.
My guides have been telling me this since day 1. Trump's base will be Trump's base.
Right.
Yes.
And once Trump falls from power, then the cockroaches will have to run and hide. There will be a time people say, oh, I didn't support him publicly, but behind the scenes, right? They'll say, yeah. So his base is going to be his base. They're not going to change. But I do think, Kevin, you're right. My guides tell me anyway that a lot of the moderate Republicans, some of the more, some of the more sensible Republicans, all right, and the Republicans who really believe in individual freedoms and stuff like that, will not vote for him. And a lot of people in the party publicly, they're afraid of him. They have to look like they're supporting him. But my guides are showing me behind closed doors, they're talking about what they can do to get him out.
I agree. And some of those voters that you're talking about, Mel, if Trump were the nominee, do I see a lot of them going and voting for Biden? Probably not, but they would vote third party, independent.
Correct.
I got the Four of Pentacles, that his MAGA base, they're going to hang on to him. They're hanging on for dear life to everything he says. It's almost like it's a cult. It's not almost, it's a cult. And the independents and the ones they call rhinos, they have the Two of Swords. A lot of them, they didn't know what they wanted to do. They couldn't make up their mind at first because they wanted to keep a Republican in office. But I think that town hall, it did take the blindfold off of some of their eyes, the people that saw that some independents and stuff. And they're going to open up their eyes and see him for what he is. And they don't want 4 more years of election denying and all this. They want somebody to put their policies through.
Yeah. And I'll say that, I'm sorry, Deann, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, even Barr, he was saying that if you're voting for Trump because you want the Republican policies to go through, he's not the one to do it. If you vote for Trump, all you're going to get is chaos.
Right.
Which, he should be in jail too. But I agree with what he said there.
I feel like for a lot of those middle of the road Republicans, this is just another thing that turns them off from Trump. But I think what really started it was the insurrection.
He was praising them. He said he's going to pardon them and that they were patriotic. And and the people that were hurt, a lot of those police officers, their families, anybody who watched it knows that wasn't true.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, what? It almost like a George Orwell novel,
Yeah.
It's
gaslighting.
Read it. What is it? 1980? What was it? What was the book?
1984.
Yeah, or something like that.
Something like that.
Kind of starting now, but it's very Orwellian. What's going on? But kind of frightening. It's like, what happened to people's common sense?
Well, he told them, don't believe anything you see or hear, only believe what I say. And they do. It's like no common sense.
Because he's playing on their fear, and that's how brainwashing works. And you see critical thinking, and they play on people's xenophobia, and they get their emotions riled up.
Right.
And when your emotions are riled up, you're not thinking with your intellect. I'll tell you a little story. My grandfather from Germany on my dad's side, he was about 5'5", but he was a boxer. But I think a featherweight or whatever they call it, but he would always win. And my father told me this story. I said, well, how do they always win? And my grandfather told my dad, well, what I would do is I would just kind of jab them. And then I would find their weak spot, and I would keep jabbing at that weak spot.
That's what he does, yeah.
And then what I would do is I'd keep jabbing at it, and they would get mad. And when they would come out swinging, I would hit them in that weak spot and knock them out. So I don't believe in violence, but the idea that he was trying to say is, don't think with your emotion and your anger, think with your intellect. And
well, he said he likes uneducated people, and that the more you tell a lie, if you tell it over and over and repeat it enough, then people begin to believe it, whether it's true or not.
But there are some uneducated people out there who are very bright people who don't fall for his BS.
Yes.
But a lot of the educated ones do, because it plays on a lot of their xenophobia as well. And
I don't have a college education, but I still have common sense. I believe my eyes and my ears,
Correct. But if you were in a room of people, then like you're in a pep rally when you're in high school, and team win, yay, because you're going on emotion.
You're right.
And you could have the worst team, but you still think they're going to win because you're going on emotion. You're not it suspends critical thinking, and that's how people brainwash, and that's how cults operate.
Well, they're not grounded in reality, and that's what came to me was cult. They're brainwashed, and they can go on any fake news place and hear their talking points and not live in facts. Whatever alternative reality it is that brings them happiness, because they're brainwashed. It's as simple as that.
I think he's one of the biggest narcissists and the best gaslighter I've ever seen.
He's a sociopath on top of it.
Yes. He has no empathy at all.
All right, you guys. We've been on for about an hour. Are we good for one more question?
Yeah, let's do one more.
All right.
We're on a roll.
Yeah. All right. Joan says, when do you see Jack Smith pulling the trigger on the stolen document?
Oh, he's far off. The musket is loaded. He's got the powder in. He's got the trigger cocked. He's gonna. I don't know. I see a huge story breaking either in May or end of May or in June. It's going to be huge, and it has to do with the Jack Smith investigation. I see it'll make Mount St. Helens look like a firecracker. It's going to be
right. It's like a huge press conference that's announced beforehand with Garland and Jack Smith. I threw cards on the weeks in May to see the energy, and I felt like it would happen around the third week. Now, timing's always kind of hard to quite pinpoint, but I feel like it may happen. May is what I'm feeling, but it very well could be into June. It's coming very soon.
Very soon. It's like
I'm getting June.
You're getting June?
Yeah. And I wonder too if they won't indict him over in New York again next, because there's not as many MAGA people there, and if he gets indicted there and found guilty again, it's going to have more people see the more crimes he does without all the MAGA threats, and then if maybe then Georgia might come in later, after this.
Well, I was going to say, let's don't forget Georgia. So, I see indictments all over the place, state and federal. And when he's indicted through the state, especially New York or Georgia, federal government can't pardon him because they can pardon somebody in the states. They can only pardon federal crimes. So, and he's going to be indicted federally as well.
Yeah.
Georgia has got a lot behind closed doors, and they're keeping it quiet. So does New York. And Bragg was not frightened by Trump whatsoever. And that judge that tried to rule against Bragg but was overturned, that judge, she's going to be in deep trouble as well. So he's got a lot up his sleeve as well. He's not done.
I keep feeling it to be New York. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry. I said I keep feeling it's going to be New York, and then later it'll go to the southern state of Georgia, get after that.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like, especially with Georgia and with Jack Smith, it's like they're getting close to making that announcement, and then they get some big more evidence that they can get into it even further. I threw a couple cards, and take it with a grain of salt, but I got yes. Indictments are coming quickly from Jack Smith. I got within a week, but then I also got within 6 months. But I feel like the 6 months is like the 6th month of June. So I would say within a week and sometime in June.
Yay.
My pendulum mat is pointing to June. So around there I'm getting to.
My guys,
I feel like it's happening very soon.
When my light bulb goes on, it's like it doesn't go on often, but it did.
So everybody worried about if Trump, if people were asking if he's going down already or when's he going to go down. It's already happening, but it's just like a bigger and bigger hole dug for Trump. And as he gets more and more desperate, he's pulling Republicans and taking them down with him.
Yeah.
Of course, what he's doing with that town hall is he's trying to raise public money to pay for his defense. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's going to raise and have them pay E.G. Carroll. That $5 million.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I kind of felt like she wasn't going to get all of that money, though, unfortunately.
But he's going to campaign off of it and try to get people to donate money, and poor victim him.
He'll appeal it, but he will. I don't see him winning the appeal. He'll have to pay.
All right, let's do one more. Are we all good for one more?
Mm-hmm.
Let's find a good one. Although the Jack Smith stuff's always going to be fun.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to have a party.
Celtic Seer has a good one.
Oh.
Do you see it, Kevin?
Hey, no, isn't Tucker Carlson? He's being sued by Dominion and Rudy Giuliani too. So they've got that, and then Foxville has the other place. Safe, what is it? Safe-Matic or something like that.
Mel, pull up your comment, but Celtic Seer says Mercury does go direct on 515 and out of the shadow by 6-1.
Oh, so. Thank God.
I know. It's been this month's been something else.
I saw a good one. Mel says, will the Senate committee subpoena the records of Harlan Crow, who bought the SCOTUS? He's already sent a letter saying he won't turn them over.
Well, he'll have to. He'll be held in contempt of Congress.
Yeah.
And so, but what's going to happen, I see, is there's going to be somebody who has access to some of those documents, and they will give them to the Senate committee. So they will be made public.
Yeah.
I hear yes.
I feel yes to that too, Mo.
And these people, they think like because of Trump that they can get away with what he's gotten away with, that they can ignore subpoenas and things like that. I don't think he has a choice, like you said, Mel.
Well, here's, Harlan Crow, it doesn't mean he's going to die, but it means like that he's going to be exposed.
Yeah.
And I see I see them looking into his stuff too, as we speak. They already are, I think. Yeah. That's for entertainment purposes only, you all.
It's definitely going to be revealed to the world. There's the secrets. I have the thief in the night, so he's trying to get out of Dodge with all of his information, anything he can do to delay, his nefarious plan, but it's not going to work. This is a card of loss. Being out cold.
Moons means secrets being brought to the surface.
Yep.
So, about the money. It's about the look at that. Yeah. Good. Boy, those are great. And look at this judgment then. Woo.
Yeah.
I got Queen of Cups in reverse. He's manipulative, but he's going to end up admitting with the Seven of Wands in reverse. He's going to be powerless. He's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to have to admit defeat. He's going to have to go if they give him a subpoena. And then I see the Three of Swords as the future for him.
Oh, yeah.
Three of Swords being like disappointment,
unhappiness, disappointment.
Delay with him coming forth with the documents, but he will have to.
Yeah, I agree. And me and Mel have been saying it for a while too. This whole dark money channels, this is just the start of it. I feel like come fall time this year, towards the end of the year, so many people are going to be wrapped up in this. Supreme Court justices, Republican senators, House members. I do feel like a couple Democrats being involved with it too. But all the dark money channels, all the Russian money, all of that coming to light and being exposed.
Absolutely.
And I agree with you, Mel, that we're going to take over the House. The Democrats will end up taking over the House. I feel that really strongly.
So do
especially after seeing all the corruption all the way through that we are getting to see.
Do you feel before the next midterm or before the presidential election?
I kind of thought yes, but I could be wrong. But I still see the Democrats taking over the House.
I think it's very highly possible. Some people are going to be in trouble and have to step down. Jack Smith is going to be getting some of them. That's why they're fighting so hard, because some of them are involved in this dark money, and some of them were involved in the January 6th, not have knowledge of it.
That's why he hasn't asked Santos to step down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They only need to lose. I think they Republicans, if they lose like 5 seats, it I think goes to the Democrats. They only have, so they can't afford to lose Santos. And I was kind of feeling that too. Like before the next election, there could very well be a change in power in the House.
I'm getting they'll lose 5 or 6 seats.
Yeah.
Yay! Good.
Good. All right. Well, this was fun. I enjoyed the three of us working together tonight. Always fun.
Too.
I enjoy working with you individually, but the three of us together was a fun time.
Let's do it again. This is fun.
Yeah,
yes,
we'll do it again.
I really love this. I love reading with Kevin. I've been trying to get a hold of you, Mel. I love reading with you too.
I'm just hard to get a hold of. Best thing to do is just
You're busy.
Just call me.
Oh yeah.
Or text. You know. Next Thursday I'll be in Sedona.
Yeah.
But the Thursday after I'll be back, so maybe the Thursday after the three of us can do another collab. How's that?
That'll be fun. Then you can tell us all about Sedona too.
And Kevin will have to help me set it up.
No problem. Yeah, and then next week too, I'm taking that week off because you're going to be on vacation. I'm having a root canal that I'm not looking forward to, and I have a bunch of spring cleaning to do in my house. So fun.
Welcome wagon is going to kick me out of the neighborhood. My house is so bad.
Yeah, mine's pretty bad. I
need to really to me. It ain't happening.
But if something big comes on, I'll post on my community board. Like I said, tomorrow Susan Lynn's coming on to do political questions. If we didn't get to your questions tonight, send us some of your political questions tomorrow night. And I believe I'm on this Sunday. I'm going to be on Kevin Lewis's The Healing Touch and doing some Reiki. So a bit of a healing, which I'm excited for.
Oh, cool.
And I've got Linda. I'll be on Linda's show on Monday.
And then
I love watching you two together.
Alternate, right? And remember, everybody, mintblizzardsbones.com. If you got bad human breath, you got to try this out. Kevin, can I show this little clip I did of?
Yeah, it was funny.
There's an app you can get. It's called My Pet, and you take a picture of your pet, and then you go over it. It's really cute. Let me just find it here. Hold on a second. Here we go. If I can get it to work, we will have it made. Give me 1 second. Oops. Hold on, everybody. Sorry about that. Sorry for the delay. Here we go. Well, hold on. Darn it. Oh, here. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, it's so cute, but you can't hear it.
You can't hear it, Mel. The volume.
I can see it.
Oh, you couldn't hear it? I'm sorry.
No, but I can see it.
You know why you couldn't hear it? Because it's my hearing aids. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Anyway. Oh, well, that was a dud.
I'm gonna email you a picture of my new puppy, Mel. I feel like a proud mama. I gotta show her off.
Let me see if you can hear it now. Hold on a minute. Can you hear it now? Can you hear it now? No, nope. You can't hear it. No. Okay. Because it comes through my hearing aids. You know what? Basically what she says is, Dad, your breath is so bad. You need mintblizzardbones.com because you have a human breath emergency.
It was cute. Mel showed it to me earlier today.
My dog probably says the same thing when we have garlic.
Now, this is not for dogs.
I know, but when I have garlic.
You know, these are little breath bones for humans. So call Leslie at 847-350-8223. And so this is the first sponsor we've had, Kevin. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Anyway. Hi, Leslie. All right. This is
all right, you guys.
So, and not next week, but the following week, the three of us again. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
You fine with me?
You got it. We will psychic on the world events.
Sounds good. All right, everyone. We'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Blessings, everyone.